Agriculture is a major pillar of the Nigerian economy, with over 70% of the nation's landmass being arable and almost the same proportion of our huge population residing in rural areas. The country is indeed well positioned to feed the whole of the West Africa sub-region. The stark reality, however, is the massive food importation that the nation has to engage in to feed its teeming population. Many factors are responsible for this state of affairs, from the discovery of oil in commercial quantities in the country to incessant policy somersaults by successive administrations, as well as non-incentivization of agriculture, among other problems. Thus, the country has had to struggle for food self-sufficiency. Welcome to another refreshing discussion on Impact Nigeria, a program designed to rekindle our hope in who we are as Nigerians. I am Diva Hamation Mom. You're welcome to the program. So on this week's episode of the program, we will be looking at another very critical aspect of our national life, which is exploring the many opportunities available in the agriculture value chain in the country. The program will continue right after this break. Welcome back. Now, the nation has comparative advantage in the production of many crops is not in doubt. But the absence of right agricultural policies has not only eroded this advantage, but has equally led to the depletion of our huge foreign reserves due to food importation. Our backgrounder highlights some of the available opportunities in the agriculture value chain.
Nigeria, the giant of Africa, is richly blessed with many natural resources, with over 70 million hectares of arable land. Yet, our oldest industry, agriculture, contributes less than it truly could to our national wealth. Agriculture accounts for over 24% of Nigerians' GDP and employs more than 35% of the labor force. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, major crops like cassava, maize, rice, sorghum, yam, and palm oil feed millions and support small-scale businesses across the country. But between the farm and the final consumer lies a complex web called the value chain.
Agricultural value chain is a series of activities, that are involved within the process of food production, from the farm to, some people will say from the farm to the fork, some will say from the farm to the table, some people will say from the farm to the final consumer. But all of the activities and processes involved in that entire system of producing food from the farm to the final consumer is what an agricultural value chain means. And there are quite a number of stages in that process, from usually a typical agricultural value chain will start from input supply to actual primary production, from production to harvesting, from harvesting to post-harvest handling, from post-harvest handling to processing, which is value addition, and then you go on and on and on to markets, to branding, and of course to consumption or exports, as the case may be. Everything there is what you call agricultural value chain.
This chain involves input suppliers, producers, processors, transporters, and marketers. Note, whenever one link is weak, the entire chain suffers because the value chain is where the real wealth lies. For example, when a maize farmer cultivates maize and harvests it raw, he earns but a little. But when it processes into flour, animal feeds, or industrial starch, he gains more. The value multiplies. This is how countries grow their agricultural economy, by moving from production to processing and distribution efficiently.
People who are responsible for moving it from one location to the other, they are transporters. Many people don't even understand that transporters are very critical actors within the agricultural value chain. So what that means is that if we fix the agricultural value chain in Nigeria, we are making the country work for many people. And this is just maize we talk about. There are so many staples that we consume on a daily basis. There is maize, there is rice, there is cassava, beans, yam, and we have all our peppers and our tomatoes. Imagine the quantum number of people that are involved in all of these processes, waking up every day and trying to make ends meet, securing their own livelihood in that process. So, to simply put it, if we fix the agricultural value chains and make it work for us, we are fixing the local economy. We are ensuring that the formal value chain or the informal sector is buoyant enough to really feed Nigerians and make Nigeria work for everybody.
More than 3.5 trillion naira is lost annually to post-harvest waste. According to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, some of these causes include poor infrastructure, which remains one of the biggest barriers, bad roads, delayed transportation, electricity shortages, disrupt processing. So, what is the way forward? Simply put, collaboration between farmers, processors, marketers, and government as they work hand in hand. This will strengthen the value chain. With more innovation, access to finance, and the right infrastructure, Nigeria can transform from an importer of food to a global supplier. From all the farmlands in the north, west, east, and south, the seeds of prosperity are already in our hands. Because when agriculture grows, industries thrives, youths find jobs, and the nation stands stronger.
Welcome back. The sad reality of our lack of self-sufficiency in food production has led to multiple efforts by both government and non-governmental bodies aimed at enhancing the agriculture practice in the country. One of such efforts is the annual Agric show, designed to bring together all stakeholders across the country to synergize on ways to improve our fortune in agriculture. Our next feature provides glimpses into the 2024 edition of the Agric show.
Nigeria is a country of over 200 million people, with over 70% of its landmass being arable and a larger proportion of its populace engaging in one agricultural activity or the other. The huge agricultural potential notwithstanding, the nation has been struggling to feed its teeming population. The neglect that agricultural practice has suffered over the years, as well as some of the security challenges facing the country, has pushed more and more Nigerians on the verge of despair as prices of common food staples becoming either unavailable or unaffordable. The over-reliance on food importation has not only worsened the situation by stifling the efforts of the local farmers, it has equally become a sort of drain pipe on the nation's foreign exchange earnings. For the National Agricultural Foundation of Nigeria, NAFN, the apex body for all farmers, commodity associations, cooperatives, and other bodies involved in agriculture and agro-allied matters in Nigeria, the issue of self-sufficiency and food security for the nation is a surmountable problem for all the critical stakeholders, and government agencies can play their roles effectively.
agree with me that Nigeria is essentially an agrarian country. But over the years, it's been subsistence farming system. And unless we move away from there, from that kind of system, we will continue to have this shortage of food in the country. So those that can do that are people who have formed themselves into an association called All Farmers Association of Nigeria. They are a composite part of the organization of this National Agric Show because it's in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security and AFAN.
The staging of the National Agricultural Show has always underscored the commitment of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, AFAN's commitment to food security for the nation and wealth creation for members. The 2024 National Agricultural Show, which is the 16th edition, will go down in history as the body's boldest attempt at ensuring that the nation feeds itself, as it is focused on the most important component in the agricultural value chain.
You are watching Impact Nigeria, and we're reaching you live from NTA News 24 studios here in the nation's capital, Abuja. You can also join us live via YouTube at NTA News 24 Hub 2, and you can also be a part of the conversation on our other social media handles, Impact Nigeria NTA News 24 on Facebook and Instagram. You can also reach us on Impact NIJ24 on X, and our phone line, which will be on live in the course of the program, is 080-5555-9989. 080-5555-9989. Now, joining us to examine the numerous opportunities in the Agric value chain, as well as unveil the plans for the 2025 Agric Show, is architect Kabir Ibrahim. He is the president, All Farmers Association of Nigeria, AFAN, and also doubles as the president of the Nigeria Agribusiness Group. We are glad to have you join us, sir.
It's my pleasure to be here.
So let's go straight to the point. A nation of over 200 million people, largely sustained by subsistence farming. It sounds almost like magic.
Yeah, of course it does. In fact, the bane of agriculture in the third world has always been lack of automation. Automation means mechanization, deployment of technology, deployment of system of crop intensification, looking at the climate smart production and all that. So there are many, many things that would help us to scale productivity, to go beyond subsistence. But we need to deploy them, and we need to do agriculture as a business. Every human being who partakes in agriculture should do it as a business, not for subsistence. And that's why the population of farmers in this country is almost 70% of the total population, because we are not really scaling our productivity. As well, in some parlance, they say it's because of somersault of policies. But I would like to say that there is no deficit in good policies in this country. Implementation of those policies is the major consideration. And then also the inavailability of mechanization. Penetration of mechanization is very low. And the cost of inputs that you use for agricultural production is also a threat factor. But another factor has come, which is almost number one now, insecurity. For the farmers to be able to go to their farms and produce optimally. A second very important challenge is global, and this is climate change. Climate change we were always, for a very long time, in denial of it. Not only here, even in the United States. But the reality is, we can see the effect and we can see the impact on the attainment of food sufficiency and then food security.
Can you tell us a bit more about how climate change has impacted agriculture?
In many ways, and I will tell you, even here in Abuja where you are, sometimes the rains go beyond the time that we expect. And sometimes the dry spells go for longer than necessary. So once that happens, certain crops will dry up. And when there is too much water, certain crops will not thrive. So these are impacts that you can easily see.
With the huge potential we have, indeed we will be able to feed West Africa if things were in place. How did we end up in a position where we are largely importing so much food?
Well, there are many reasons, and I have told you there are many threat factors to the attainment of food sufficiency and food security. Even our position in Africa and the porous nature of our borders and a lot of informal trade is a very important factor, even whereupon we're able to produce to feed our population. But the disproportionate growth of our population juxtaposed on our low productivity is always going to be a factor, because invariably we are responsible for feeding most of the countries around us in this hemisphere.
Through informal trade,
Through a lot of
porous
informal,
borders.
yes,
and
and then also you should also know that today Africa is one market. We must open, since we committed to it. We signed the AFTA protocol, and therefore Africa is one market.
Can you break that down a little bit for us? Because I want our audiences to...
The audience should understand.
AFTA should be an acronym?
Yeah, but I will break it down for you.
Yeah.
It is Africa Free Trade Area. That is making Africa as a whole as one market, free trade. You should be able to take your things out of our shores. Once it's within Africa, it's free. There are so many leverages, so many concessions that you get for export and for import within Africa. And that should make us, or make Africa better, because EU, you can see EU is open. You even move around. They have Schengen visa. You can even move all over the place. And you can do anything you want within EU with very, very good concessions. But because every country there is almost self-sufficient in food and all that, they don't have the stresses that we have. In Africa, there are countries that are really, really very poor. They have no food whatsoever because of climatic conditions, because of geographical position, and because of the economies. And Africa, Nigeria, whether you like it or not, is able to do that, because you just mentioned the quantity of arable land that we have. A lot of irrigable, a lot of cultivable land, a large population. What we produce is not only used up by the over 200 million people we have, but you must factor other countries around this hemisphere, because invariably our foods go there. If you go to Kano, for instance, go to Dawano market, you see many trucks filled to the brim with food items, and they go out to Maradi up to Timbuktu. It's a free area. Largely, most of it had been informal. So even Nigeria was not getting, the necessary tariff. Yes, that will also help it to grow its other sectors of the economy. So, but now, when we get our acts together, when institutions work properly, and all the conditions that we laid out, consistent policies, doing a lot to our energy sector, making sure our security is firm and better, we would be able to really maximize our advantages.
What are some of these policies you're concerned about?
Honestly, for me, you know, I am not really concerned about any of these policies as such, except a few that just happened recently. You know, from 2015 to 2023, we had the policy that we should grow what we eat and eat what we grow. But at some point last year, we thought it was a necessary pill that needed to be taken. We opened the importation through zero tariff of a few items. Rice, and the rice had to be husked, rice. The mills should be busy doing it. Wheat, which we already, all the time had a deficit. We needed to augment, because I'm sure you know what happens to your bread, for instance. Your children used to play football with bread on the dining table. Do they do that now?
Not at all.
So these things necessitated the importation of some of these items. And even corn, maize, the demand for maize in Nigeria is well over 20 million metric tons. So we needed to augment that by importation. But we all agreed that it was going to be importation for a certain period between July and December. At the time that this issue was mooted, I thought, because from agribusiness, I thought many entrepreneurs would key into that and import, so that they would also help out and they will make their own profits and all that, and buoyancy would increase. We found lethargy amongst some of these players. They didn't want to buy because they were not sure that whatever they bought would be taken up by the population. And their reason was simple, that purchasing power of the Naira was very low and is still very low. Purchasing power of the individuals who had Naira was also very low. And therefore, this matter was left for until government decided to take the bull by the horn and do the importation directly by itself. And when it came in, the price was such that people could not afford it as much. I believe up to now, some of the things that were imported are still there in our warehouses. Now, farmers would want more from what they produce. Because of that importation and because of harvest price at this time, the prices that the farmers get are very low. And some of them are even threatening not to be able to go back to the farm. And what they are saying can be understood really, because when the price of inputs remains very high, the cheapest fertilizer you get in Nigeria is slightly more than 50,000. So, and then you sell your maize, a bag of maize, 100 kg is like that. 50 kg bag. 100 kg of maize.
No, of the
fertilizer, yes. Yes, that's how it is sold in the market. The marketing is like that. But for maize, for instance, the measure is 100 kg. You sell it for 30,000 or thereabout. And then for you to get one bag of fertilizer, you need to sell two. So it becomes very difficult for you, since you are not even able to break even. And your production is limited because of so many inhibiting factors. Like I told you, mechanization, the climate effects, the insecurity effects, and all that. So invariably, everybody is complaining about food because everybody takes food. It's not like any other thing. Food is universal. It's a universal problem. And that's why there is a lot of talk about food inflation, unaffordability of food, and all that. So the public domain is really agog with problems. Nobody sees any other progress because we're all hungry.
You see, you highlighted so many challenges that had not occurred to me because this is not my field. How then do we make agriculture attractive? We have a large population of young people. Nigeria is, in terms of population, we are young, predominantly young. And we have so many people out of school and all of this, getting involved in things they should not. Is there any way we can make agriculture attractive to our youth?
There are several ways. I mentioned areas where we need to do more. We need to look at our energy sector. We need to look at innovation. We need to look at climate smart agriculture. We need to bring IT into production. We need to bring e-finance, e-commerce into our system. We need to do agriculture as a business by making sure that we do not sell what we have in its primary form. That is, we do value addition. In the program,
by processing it to a certain
by
degree.
processing, yes. Processing exactly is value addition. And we need to be able to distribute what we produce or what we process seamlessly. So we need to work on our road infrastructure, transport infrastructure, to sum it up. This is what we must do. When we do that, and there is a lot of money coming in, the youngsters who feel that agriculture is a chore that has to be done to feed oneself will now see that it is possible to make money in agriculture, and therefore they will all come there, not necessarily to go to the farm and hold hoes and cutlasses, but they can get from the value chain. From the value addition, they get jobs.
Let's break this value chain down.
Value chains, we say, not
Yes.
value chain. If you look at cassava, for instance,
Yes.
you can make ethanol from it. You can make gari. You can make starch. You can feed animals. We can use it even in as cassava grit in animal feed. That is maybe poultry.
So that is the processing aspect of cassava.
Yeah, the value chain is including processing, distribution, storage,
Distribution, storage.
and even consumption.
So,
And that is, let me define what all these things mean.
yes.
They mean the food system. The food system comprises production, processing, storage, distribution, and even consumption. That is what is called food system.
There's a term you've used a couple of times here that I would still want you to break down for us. Climate smart agriculture. What is that about?
Now, when you see, let me give you a simple thing that you'll understand very well. In your home now, at the backyard, you are supposed to be producing vegetables
Yes.
to help your household. If you produce your vegetable in an enclosed environment where you control what happens, not too much rain, not too much sun, and you do drip irrigation to irrigate those, and they grow seamlessly, you avoid too much insect manifestation. Yes, too much insect infestation and all that. This is climate smart. So when you do that, you optimize that production. But you can also do it soilless, without soil. Some of the nutrients in the soil can be put there. They are in liquid form. You see them. You don't see soil. The roots grow, and you can get that thing. That is also climate smart. And you are deploying technology, and technology does not mean that that's your phone that you use. No, technology can be anything from outside that. The thing that gives rise to that is also technology. The things that maximizes the use of that is also technology. You are using science and technical know-how to add mechanical advantage to things that are produced.
Does it also include going into agriculture in a way that does not increase the carbon footprint?
Of course. In fact, the factor here for climate change is the control of carbon, the emission of carbon. And you get credits for it. There is a very strong attraction now. You can even get carbon, a country that plants trees and, in an orderly manner to prevent, deforestation and all that, and even the encroachment of desertification and all that. You can get points and make money out of it. In fact, if you look at the gradation, and it's in dollars, so many countries are really doing that and making their economies better.
Considering the fact that desertification has been pointed out as a factor that might be pushing...
Global warming.
not just global warming, but insecurity through, you know, farmer-herder clashes and things of such.
No, I want to differ from you.
Okay.
You see, many years ago, when I was a member of some security committee that was formed by the Ministry of Defense,
Yes.
we started, you know, our tour from Taraba. We came to your state, Benue, came to Nasarawa, went to Katsina just to see what they had done with bandits, negotiations and all that, and then went to Zamfara. I come from the southern part of Katsina. If you go eastwards, westwards from the headquarters of my local government, farmers could not even go because there were hills and there were thick sets of trees. They are not deforested. Those ones are the hiding places of the bandits. So I will not say that deforesting that brings about banditry. No, it is even an effect, I mean something to do to really mitigate that. And there was a time I preferred that you need to defoliate the trees.
Really?
Yes. So that airplanes doing recce will now be able to see all those people, those bandits that were hiding in the thick sets, and then decimate them or arrest them. So for me, your thesis is the reverse, and then in reality I think is the reverse. But deforestation brings about global warming, and global warming is a very serious threat factor to the attainment of food security, not only in Nigeria, it's a global issue. So let's fixate that.
Sure. I know of a group of people that were kidnapped and were hidden under baobab trees, and when the helicopters went overhead, they couldn't see anything. So just to buttress the point you made about how the forests might actually be harboring, but then we need our trees, of course. So insecurity is another very, very strong point working against farmers. The state is doing what it can. Is there anything individuals can do?
Oh, a lot. If you say government, who is government? You and I are government as well. We have a few people that we say less than 1% of the population that are in positions of responsibility. For me, insecurity is everybody's business. Even if your son gets involved in this, you advise them properly. If they don't listen, you take them to the authorities. Just the same thing if your son abuses drugs. You take them to where they will be rehabilitated. So I think everybody should really contribute their widow's mite to the insecurity situation, because most of what happens in kidnappings and all that, we inform them. I mean, who would come to your house? They don't know how your house is and they just come there to kidnap you. They must have an informant. Somebody must be telling them how to get into your house and where you are and if you are even around at the time they come. So the issue is everybody's problem. And we need to be more equitable. We need to support people who are ready to add value to the nation. You see, when we go back to agriculture, for instance, if a man from your village does a cottage industry that is agro-allied, your local government should support that to thrive, because it will take out many of these people, young people who have no jobs, and they will be provided with jobs there, either as those people selling the merchandise that is produced there or being there to do the production. And that's how countries grow. That's how economies grow. That's how United States, for instance, became a first world. Their population about 150 years ago, the population of farmers was like what is happening today in Nigeria, 70%. And now the population of farmers in the United States is hardly 2% because of automation.
That's interesting. Can you just tell us a bit more about the All Farmers Association of Nigeria?
Well, you see, All Farmers Association of Nigeria was registered in 2003. It was founded.
We'll take a quick break and come right back.
They are bold. They are creative. They are shaping the future. From classrooms to global stages.
Welcome to today's episode of The Conversation That Matters.
Nigerian youths are making an impact like never before. We are duty-bound to promote ingenuity, courage, and patriotism. Join us on Impact Nigeria as we spotlight stories that inspire, innovations that drive changes, and voices that matter.
What is patriotism to you?
Patriotism simply refers to love of country, commitment to country, determination to face odds in defense of country, and the eagerness to speak with pride about country.
Impact Nigeria, rekindling patriotism. Live every Saturday by 5 p.m. on NTA NEWS24. Join us.
We will be taking a few messages now from those that have been watching and want to send in their inputs. Of course, we have somebody who sent in a message from last week. We'll take that as well. But let's start with somebody, and we would appreciate it if you add your name. That would help. We have someone who sent in a message saying, I am so grateful from River State, Onne local government area, to watch you. Well done. Thank you so much. And then we have this other message, which is a bit concerning. It says, hi, my wife's sister was taken by one lady in Lagos to Libya. Now her phone has been collected from her. She can only call through the madam's phone. We need help to bring her back. With regard to this, there are agencies that are in charge of handling such issues. NAPTIP is one of them. NIDCOM is another. And we are hoping that you'll take our advice seriously and reach out to these two agencies with all the information you need, and they'll be in a better position to direct you in how to go. We wish you good luck with that. No name, but good luck all the same. And that was from our discussion, the program we had some weeks back talking about trafficking and all of that. So, sir, let's come back to the question you were answering before we went on break. You were trying to tell us a bit more about the All Farmers Association of Nigeria. Let's have
I said AFAN became AFAN in 2003. It was a number of contending forces. They called their associations by various names. Very prominent three people: Dr. Shatima Mustafa, Admiral Nyako, and Femi Koka. Shatima and Femi are late. You have only Admiral alive. President Obasanjo played a very important role, and his then Minister of Agriculture, Adamu Bello, they played a very important role in coining the name AFAN, All Farmers Association of Nigeria. It is conceived to be the apex body of all farming activities and all associations by whatever name called. The first president was Murtala Inyaku. He was appointed. He was not really elected, because they had these three contending associations, as I told you. Obasanjo advised them to coalesce and form one, and probably because he was a military man like him, he became the president. Shatima and Koka were deputies. Koka was deputy 1, Shatima was deputy 2. And of course, they formed caretaker chapters in all the 36 states, plus FCT. They worked for a while, and then politics came, and one of them, Murtala Nyako, contested and even became president. When he became president, the deputy 1 took over. took over for some time. He took over for some time, and then Abdullahi Adamu, the former governor of Nasarawa State, became a caretaker president, but he was charged to do normal elections.
Okay. I'm sorry, I have to cut you off. There's a call coming in. Good evening, and thank you for making this call. You're on to Impact Nigeria.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you for calling. May we have your name, please?
This is Olatunji calling from Garki.
Okay, Olatunji.
Yes. I am enjoying the conversation, and I don't know the people that are supervising agriculture. Are they connected, all of them? Are they relating together in collaboration for us to get good results? That's the question I want you to help me ask your guest. Is there a synergy between all of them? Because the cost of food is so high in the country. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tunji. Did you get the question?
Yeah, I had him.
So,
should I answer the question or continue?
Oh, sure, answer the question.
Well, you see, we are all producers of farm products. I am talking from the position of a farmer. Now, we are always talking with government and telling government how farmers feel and what should be done to farmers. We are also consumers, because there is not a single farmer that produces everything that he or she wants to eat. So we are all suffering the same thing. And there are many factors that are causing farmers to complain and for consumers to complain. And these are predicated on the state of the economy. A few years ago, you wouldn't be talking about complaints from farmers for poor what they get from what they produce. And then also, you will not complain of too much inflation on food. So a lot of these things are work in progress. We are continually bringing to the knowledge of the people with authority that it is good that while you bring down the cost of food, you should also bring down the cost of inputs.
All right, let's take another call. Good evening and welcome to Impact Nigeria Studios.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Muhammad Abdahiru.
Sorry?
My name is Muhammad Abdahiru.
All right.
Yes, I'm calling from Sokoto.
Okay.
I enjoy your program quite all right. My concern is how will the All Farmers Association of Nigeria intervene this issue of farm inputs. The cost of farm inputs is very, very high, while the cost of farm produce is now very, very low. I don't know how they will intervene to stabilize. Maybe if the farm input can come down so that farmers can balance their costs and have cost-effective production and maybe make some profit.
Did you get the question?
Yes, we are an advocacy group, and we are continually telling government that we should calibrate the costs of food, that is what we produce, and also the inputs with which we produce this. Even today, early morning today, there was a program launched by the Minister of Agriculture in Borno. It is on NAGS-AP. NAGS-AP means growth, national agricultural growth, coined agro-pocket. Now, certain crops were identified, and today they launched on wheat. Wheat and all its requirements in input was looked at holistically. And in some of the inputs, the government decided to give subsidy of 25% on all inputs. So government is doing something, but from my point of view, I'm saying it should be more. I would want to see government giving subsidy of 50%, not 25%.
Yeah,
so we are every day advocating. We are every day advocating, and they are listening. From 20%, I'm sure we will do more. So it's work in progress.
Of course, there would be those that would say, oh, so much goes into agriculture. What about healthcare? What about education and all of that? But I guess we'll get there when we do get there. Now, let's talk about women in agriculture. Women in agriculture. Would we say that agriculture in Nigeria is dominated by the men? Is it a 50-50 balance?
Well, I want to tell you, you know, from what we do, the reality, not fairy tale, there are more women farmers than men.
Oh, you mean the people that actually go to the farm and wield the hoes and all
of course.
that?
You see, in some parts of Nigeria, the women actually do the production. The men only eat. In the spare times, they drink.
And own the land.
So I to be sympathetic to women, I think we should take more cognizance of their value in agriculture than we are doing. And that's why in all we do, we make sure that we look at the women wing closely and give the women wing a lot of attention and a lot of encouragement, a lot of incentivization. The youth and women are very important to agricultural productivity, and we promote that in all we do.
When you say we, you're referring to AFAN?
AFAN is the umbrella of all agricultural activities in this country. When I say AFAN, I say everyone in agriculture. And I believe you two are in some form of agriculture.
Very small.
Whatever.
Very small.
You know, we even accommodate people who intend to be farmers. If you intend to be a farmer, you can be a member of AFAN.
What benefits come to me as a member of AFAN?
What benefits come to you is that when you are a member of AFAN in your state, because we do not, register people haphazardly. You register where you have your farm, or where you intend to have your farm, so that the people, the leaders there know you, they speak the language you understand, and they can cause for what you claim to be verified. We do not register people in the national office.
Okay.
Anybody who does that has another motive. The farming is a rural vocation. If you go to rural England, you see where agriculture is. You don't come to central London and expect that there is agriculture there. Or you don't come to Washington and expect agriculture to be there. It's a rural vocation. In the Midlands, in the UK, you will visit farms. You see farms. Left, right, you see them. You see animals. You see plussed green, and animals feed on them. And you see plantations and all.
I can see another call coming in. I think we lost that one.
So as far as we are concerned, if you are going to do agriculture, you must say where your processes are. They will be verified. Then you will be registered. Then when anything comes, it will go to the real farmer, not a portfolio farmer. Not somebody who comes to Abuja, for instance, with their large, big agbadas or briefcase and goes to the CBN or Ministry of Agriculture and says they are farmers and they get something. No, the real farmer will get it. But of course you know that government does not have all the resources to give all of the farmers at the same time.
True.
And even the Farmers Bank, the BOA, cannot and does not have sufficient funds to give everybody. Farmers should learn that when they borrow, they have to pay back for others to get. So loans in those concerns must be revolving. You give loan to a set of people, they use it, and they pay back so that you give other people. Then everybody will be very happy. That's what happens in small countries that have become big names in agriculture. Take the Netherlands. They have a bank, they call it a People's Bank. And that bank lends money to farmers. And the farmers pay and others get it. And therefore, everybody is happy. And the income from agriculture is big.
Thank you very much, Architect Kabir Ibrahim. It has been a very interesting one, by the way. I do a little bit of subsistence farming myself, and I think I learned quite a bit.
Thank you very much.
Our viewers out there also learned
Thank you
something.
for having me. Thank you. Yes.
So, well, it has been nice having you with us on Impact Nigeria, particularly our callers. We hope you will join us again next week. We wish you a successful outing in this year's edition of the show. And as you count down to the 2025 National Agric Show from the 28th of November.
From 24th.
From the 24th, yes, at the Agric Show ground along the Kefi-Abuja Expressway.
28 kilometers from Abuja.
Yes. We can only encourage Nigerians to seize this opportunity to showcase some of their...
Thank you for the free advert.
Anything we can do to encourage farmers.
We thank you immensely for that.
Would be a good one.
We look forward to receiving you and everybody else from NTA there.
Well,
and you have always covered it, so please come in large numbers.
Yes, this year will be no different. Yes.
Thank you.
So that's where we end the show today. And it's been an interesting one, as I said earlier, and it was good to have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
For our viewer out there, join us again, same time, same channel, next Saturday at 5 p.m. My name is Devanha Mathieu Mom, and it's been good having you with us.